builders, parents, collectors. Welcome to the Creation Evaluation Station. On this episode, we are going to be evaluating the Galaxy Explorer. Before getting any further, got a couple things to say. I now have a Patreon account that is active. So check out the link down below. I'm planning to add more to it. It's pretty much bare bones right there, but you can, I've only got one tier for $3 a month. There'll be more added. Of course, no pressure to actually use them, but any little bit that you do does help the channel. So, for those who are not familiar with my channel, I do in-depth reviews of models and construction kits, both new and old, mostly Lego. There's the sign. But other products as well. I also do reviews and discussions of other creative works such as movies, cartoons, and video games. And because these are in-depth reviews, they tend to be on the long side, and this is a big set. So, it will be probably on the long side. Make sure to use the timestamps down here along the red bar where it's all broken up, or down in the description, and you can use them as bookmarks or to jump around to the parts you're most interested in and skip things that you may not be interested in, like the parts or the leftovers or whatever. So yeah, getting back to this set, I'm really excited because I started with space. It's space and castle are my favorite lines. I kind of wish they not necessarily have to go back to classic space, but go along to things like the classic space. I know that they have their more realistic space line right now, and that's okay, and I kind of like that, but still, you know, being a futuristic kind of imaginative, what is space going to look like? You know, what's space travel going to look like? That just speaks to me. And if you're familiar with my channel here, you know we're all about creativity, and that's very creative. You know, thinking about the future. Aside, getting down to the nitty gritty here on set details. It's set number 10497. It is, well, it says it's an 18 plus set. I'm not sure about that, although I'm pretty sure it's a bit more complicated than the older ones. But it's part of the Icons line, so they're all 18 plus sets. I would definitely, this is probably going to be more around like a 9-10 plus set, but that's just my speculation. Don't take that as fact. It has 1,254 pieces. It's a big boy, and retails for $99.99 on the Lego website, and they still have it. Sorry about the noise. They still have it as last I knew. But if they are out, it will be okay because they'll get to more in. It was just released here in summer 2022 in August. I've also seen it at Walmart. I thought this was going to be like something like an online exclusive, like a lot of their stuff is, or Lego store exclusive. But I've seen it at Walmart, so you can find it there. And it was kind of fun, very nostalgic seeing it on the shelf like that. It made me giddy when I first saw it. But yeah, this is a pretty hefty box, as you saw, 1,000 pieces. Really excited to dig into this. Classic memories. I have all my old classic sets, bar a couple parts here and there. But we will be looking at them someday. But not quite yet. We're still doing newer stuff. So, yeah. Let's go open her up and see what's inside. Here we have the contents of the box. A nice big instruction booklet, nice and thick. It's wrapped in plastic. Doesn't appear to be any stickers inside. From what I've heard, there aren't any. So if there are some, I'll be very surprised. We have a bag 1, bag 2, bag 3, bag 4, bag 5, and bag 666, the evil bag. But wait, there's more. We also have bag 7, bag 8, and bag 9. I think this is the most amount of bags I've put together. And there's still a little bit more. There's also this big, huge plate, which I don't know what this is about, because at least from the outside, all the pictures, there doesn't look like should be a plaque or anything. I don't know what it goes to. Maybe it's for something inside. And we also have this leaflet paper talking about trying to make their packaging more sustainable. The contents of bag 1. Of course, we have a brick separator. I also threw in the big panel piece. Panel, I don't know what you want to call it. Tile piece. That's what it is. Don't know what it's for still. But we have lots of Technic bricks. Big ones, some small ones, and even beams and stuff. Some chassis pieces. Along with the Technic parts, we have tons of Technic pins. Tons and tons and tons and tons. We also have these transparent mugs. I'm not sure what they're for. And some transparent red 1x2s. And we have our first figure here. Look at his smiley face. I so miss the smiley faces. I know, we gotta have details and gotta represent certain characters or whatever, but the plain smiley face, it's very charming and very nostalgic. That is all of bag 1. There we have the contents of bag 2. Got some interesting pieces here. Table pieces. I don't know what you want to call them. Elevated tiles, I suppose. I think they're something that they created for the Mario line. I'm not sure. But in the last bag, we had a lot of Technic bricks. This one, we have tons of plates, including tons of angular plates. Look at all those. Yes, lots of plates, some small thin ones, but some thicker ones as well. Some really long ones. Lots of plates. Some bricks, mostly plates, more plates. And over here in the smaller stuff, we have some transparent tiles. We've got some saucer pieces. We got some printed vent pieces, or whatever you want to call them. Classic steering wheel stuff. Yeah. A lot of plates. Of course, a lot of blues and grays. Typical of Classic Space. On to bag 3. A lot more plates. Got a few more bricks again than the last one. One of those chassis pieces for Technic. A lot of smaller plates in this one. Is that the last one? We got a lot of other smaller pieces here. I think a number of these, whatever they are. Just only a few pins. We have a lot of these 1x2 cheese wedges. A few of the single cheese wedges. Some dots. Some more of those pieces in trans red. And we have a lot of yellow studs with a couple hollow white ones. And our second figure has arrived. The white astronaut. On to bag 4 here. We got some angle pieces and more small plates. More small plates. But this time we have more tiles. And I didn't put all my angle plates together. There's more up there. Some studs on side pieces. We got a bunch of these black studs on side pieces. Yellow 1x4 plates. And these smaller rail pieces. These are actually not plates over here. These are rail pieces. My bad. And those are larger ones. I didn't mention them. We have even more yellow studs in the last bag. Not quite as many. Tons upon tons and tons and tons of 1x2 cheese slopes. And a few of the smaller ones, including some red ones, transparent red. Yeah, that's the bag of 4. We're almost halfway. Here we have a bag of 5. We got a good assortment of parts this time around. We got some thin plates, we got some big triangle plates. There are quite a bit of plates in this one. And we once again have a lot of these angle plates. Got a bunch of 1x4 tiles. A lot of the extra long slopes. 2x4 slopes, I guess you would call them. On these square pieces. Nothing overabundance. There's a bunch of these 2x3 tiles, and we have our red astronaut. A red astronaut. There's more than one in here. That's a bag 5. We are now over halfway done. Here we have bag 5. We got a lot of these wing fin things. Got some containers here in gray. Yeah, some plates. Got a good mix of things. Not quite as many pieces as some of the earlier bags. No character in here, although we do have a black air tank. There's no black figures in here. All either white or red. A lot of these little cheese wedges, transparent red studs, transparent green studs. Yep, and that's that. Here we have the 7th bag, and sorry about the previous one. I called it the 5th, and it was actually the 6th. But there'll probably be a notification on the clip. We have some windows here, and we have some big old windscreens. Those things are huge. Good mix of parts here. A lot of blues, whites, a little bit of gray. Some transparent red round bricks. And some transparent yellow 1x2s. And we have the windows for those windows. The panes for those windows. We also have, I think this is our last figure, but it's another one of our white astronauts. Got a bunch of little pieces in here. And this is really exciting. Look, we have control panels that are printed. We have a big space symbol that is printed. We have numbers that are printed. And then look, all of these monitors and things are printed. Different kinds. We have some multiples of some. These are all unique. I doubt they'll be doubles, but one could hope, I suppose. But that is bag 7. Here we have bag number 8, and I hope you're feeling blue, because we have a lot of blue here. Bunch of wings. We got some ramp pieces in blue. Some plates, small plates, big plates. Good mix of stuff. We have a lot of 1x3s. Some Technic pieces. We got a bunch of these bucket pieces. It's interesting to have so many of those. I'm pretty sure they're probably for rocket engines, but to see so many in one set, just kind of funny. Got some old-fashioned accessories. And a lot of little kibble here. A bunch of these green 1x1 square studs, not the round ones. Here we are at the last bag, bag number 9, and we have tons of round pieces. We've got tires, we've got wheel hubs, we got just regular round bricks, we've got saucers, transparent saucers to boot, and we even have half barrels and gears and rocket cones and all sorts of round pieces. Kind of crazy that they put all the round stuff in this last bag. But it must be the last bits for the set. And we also have a ton of pins and some other odds and ends in here. Transparent red 1x2s. Yeah, that is the last bag. So let's go finish this up. Here are our leftover pieces. Nothing too unusual here. Mostly, stuff you usually see. Kibble, the only interesting thing, or I don't know if interesting is the right word, is this red 1x1 round brick. Isn't a typical leftover, and I have a feeling it goes somewhere on the set, but I looked over and over and I could not find it. So I don't know. Hey, let me know if you had one of these in your set if you to get this. And of course we have a brick separator, of course. Of course. Here we have our cast of characters for this set. Included, I put the robot in here, although technically he's not a minifigure. He's a buildable figure, or whatever you want to call him. So we got 2 red guys, 2 white guys. There's not too much to talk about. All the printing is what you see, the space symbol on their chest. Look fine. The beautiful yellow smiley faces look great. Like they've always have. Very inviting. The newer printed faces, even when they first started, I mean, they were great, but they're simple and satisfying with the just plain yellow face. And you could say these are spacemen, but these could be women too. It's very gender neutral. Oops, sorry about that. It's very gender neutral. They could be male, female, doesn't matter. It's up to your imagination. That said, they don't have names, so you can call them whatever you want. This is Bob, this is Billy, this is Susan, this is Tim, whatever. You have to use your own creative mind, which is good. And our robot here, he's apparently a coffee maker. I actually have one of the original ones of these robots from way back when. They were in more than one set, I'm pretty sure, because I know the original robot I had was in a much smaller set than the Galaxy Explorer, the original one, so they must have been in other ones. But we can take a look at the back here just to see what it looks like. Pretty simple back. Got their air tanks. These aren't exactly the same. I mean, they've had different molds. Even the heads are probably different shapes than the original back in the day. The helmet's definitely been changed because they... well, if you've seen the Lego movie there with Benny and his broken helmet there, they had a tendency to do that. And these new pieces are definitely been modified, so that doesn't happen. They also have a little flat spot on the top of their head, which the old ones I'm pretty sure didn't. I'd have to dig them out. We will be looking at my older sets eventually and all the older characters. Now, I had a white guy. Unfortunately, I think he got lost, but I did get another one later from a special collector set to replace him, but it's no longer the original figure. I don't think I ever got any red guys. I did get another red guy in another collectible set that they had, so these are good ones to have. I never had too many white ones. No red ones. I have blue. I have a couple blue ones. I don't think I ever got a black one except for in a special collection. Don't remember. But we'll be looking at all them eventually and we'll find out. But that's it for these guys. There's not really too much to talk about. It's nice that they use metallic paint here on the planets, which that's the way the original was too. They had at least started doing metallics in their painting all the way back then. So that's kind of cool. Here we have everything put together with our spaceship, Galaxy Explorer, and all our figures and our robots. And everything's here. looking really snazzy. I love this set so much. Both nostalgic and for what it is, because yes, there's nostalgia, but if you look closer, there's stuff here that was that wasn't in the original set. Even though I don't have it, that there's so much detail on the inside that they didn't have. Of course, the set is a lot bigger and than the original, so they have room for more stuff like that. It's a very interesting build. This how they did this bottom is this is the core of the set, basically. This bottom, it's like the top stuff was not slapped on, it was built in, but it's much simpler when you get that far. This is very complex, and it's rather amazing, some of the techniques and stuff they implemented to doing it. Now, it was a bit flimsy, and I could understand. Well, I still don't think 18 plus is an appropriate age for this. Younger kids should be able to do it. Teenagers. So I think maybe 10 or 11 and up, teenage years, should be fine with this. It's a little fiddly. First thing you do is you build the main basic structure, and that uses a lot of Technic stuff. And then you fill things in, including putting panels all around into the bottom of it. And then you build the top part of it and put the panels and stuff on top. And those panels don't, like, not all the studs are touching things. So they're a little bit loose and fiddly while you're building the top side. But when you get everything together, it clamps down nice and tight, and everything's fine. And this is easy to play with. It is on the hefty side. Another reason why young kids, like I'm younger than 10, might not be too interested. It's still swooshable. You just kind of have to hold it with one hand. But as I said, it's hefty. So, younger kids might need more than one hand to handle it. Oops. Pulled up one in the landing gear, which we'll look at that in a moment. I think we'll start topside with the interior and work from there. So let's check out the interior of this first. Bring it in closer. We have our figure set off to the side here. We'll start here in the front. Now it's hollow. There's actually space going all the way back through. And moving figures through like that, can't exactly do that. But since you can simply open up the large windshields and get in from below, you know, you can skip over to the next section without having to worry too much. But yeah, you can go from, this is hollow, well, they're not solid walls dividing up these compartments, or at least what appears to be compartments. Now, starting with the inside here, like I said, let's pull that back further. We have seating here for 4. There's 2 studs that hold them down, but won't make them hard to get in and out. It's hard to see the... I'm actually going to pop this off. Well, not quite like that, but... Well, we're going to just dismount this thing. Probably the best way to do it. You can see inside the cockpit there, and they got all sorts of different monitors and stuff, including the layout of the ship there on the bottom. Got 2 steering wheels, pilot and a co-pilot, and yeah, that's inside there. We'll put some figures in there. Just put this back up on the mount. Everybody in a nice sitting position, and there we go. They sit in just like that. And we're gonna kind of mix them up a bit in here. I think I just pressed too hard on the back of that. Which I'll fix that later. There you have it. They're all in there. Let's put this back in here. This is very interesting how this was made. And it just clips in there with those two clips. Right now we got that back put together. There's our crew all sitting in there. The robot can't sit up front with them, although if you removed one of them, the robot could sit in there beside them. And we close that back up, and there they are. Robot can fit back in here, or I think there's even room here. We'll take a closer look at that, but moving next to the next area. This time I think we can hold that off. Here we are in the next section here in the back. You can see there's a lot of space in there. There's even some room to tuck up underneath the roof. Not so much here in the front, but we got a guy laying in there. And you see the other bed there. I don't know if this is a medical bay or just their, resting area while they're sleep area in the ship. But that inset there is where they can, how they fit in with their air tanks on, so that they can sit flat. It's very nicely designed. Something that they really didn't have to do, but they did. And see, oh, and there we got all sorts of monitors. There's more on the other side here. So yeah, a lot of computer stuff going on inside, which makes sense. And before we move on to anything else, we gotta look on the underside. You get underside here, you can see it's very flat, but there's these holes here, and get your finger underneath there. We have opening up landing pads. Oops. Well, I guess that one wasn't on tight. We got two here in the back, and then one here on the front. You have red sneaking through there, but I think that's okay. Makes it look like there's a red light or something coming through. And with that, it can sit up higher. It's easier to put your fingers under like this, which you saw earlier when he's struggling to pick it up. This makes it much easier with those landing pads. So with that, let's look more towards the outside. We still have some interior stuff to look at, but we'll get that when we get to the back. First, start with the front. Nothing really to show here, but this symbol here is not a sticker. It is a tile. I thought it was a ramp piece, a sloped piece, but it is not. It is the ship is design sloped, and it's a tile that's just laid down there. And we have this brick. This is a brick with a print on it, and it is also on the other side. And that has to do with the original set number there. Moving back, we have these rockets, but these rockets are more than rockets. If you pop them off, which they are on really tight, so this isn't exactly easy to do, But you pop them off. Seems like the easiest is to tilt one way and then pop the back off. Flip it over and you have control panels. This is designed for a character to sit on and fly. So they're little scout rockets, although very powerful with these big huge engines on them. You can even put your little robot here. He can't quite reach the control panels, but considering he's probably literally linked to the whatever onboard computer there is, he probably doesn't have to use the controls. But yep, and there's two of them. There's one on the other side as well. And you just flip them back over and clip them into those clips. And moving back here a little bit further, we have some doors here that are on the side that have equipment inside them. There's some strange spray nozzles on this side, or lights. I think they're supposed to be like lights. And then, on the other side, thing is huge. We have some additional air tanks. There's a black air tank in there. Then, moving to the back, before I get any further, you see this? This is not a print. This is built. Now, the original set had a print with the white arrow on it, but this is actually a print. It's not a print, excuse me. It's actually a build. That arrow is built into the side of this ship. And I'm not going to spoil too much how it's done, but it's pretty neat how they did it. So moving to the back, and we're actually going to land this puppy. Make sure my landing gear are down all the way because I bumped them. Nice and even, yep. Alright, let's see if we can get this and the camera right. Looks good. So, take both fins, open it up, and look at that. There's a buggy in there. You can put a guy in there, or you can put the robot in there. You might have to put his antenna down, but you could close it up if you I think if you put a regular guy in there. Actually, let's give that a try, because I'm not even sure about that. I kind of assumed they could. The robot sits higher than the figures. So yeah, let's put him there and then close it up. Yep, okay, so yeah. You can put a character in there. It does brush his helmet a little bit. And you would leave him in there if you want. The robot's another story because he kind of sits higher. But we got that little rover there, and you say, well, how does he come out? He's got these gray clips here. But here's the really cool part. Open this, pull this out to a certain point, and it drops down, and boom. The little vehicle rolls right out, and off he goes. Now, the car itself, I suppose we should look at. Little dune buggy thing is really cute. I like it. They had similar vehicles, though they had smaller wheels, and I actually like these larger wheels. Looks much more dune buggy-ish, moon buggy-ish than the originals. The other ones had really small wheels. These are much more, looks more like ATV wheels, which kind of look cooler. And we can drive this back up here, back it up, beep, 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 hold it there, slide that back in, pull that up, and close the doors, like so. Let's pop that back down, and that's pretty much it for features on this thing. So let's head back to the desk and give you my final thoughts and the final eval. We're back here at the desk. Give this my final eval and my final thoughts. Overall final thoughts, what can I say? I have bias to classic space, and so this already had a +1 for me. But really, putting together. It's really cool. It was fun to put together. It was a bit challenging. Still don't think it's worth its 18 plus age range, but it's still a bit challenging. And for new builders, well, if they like a challenge, then go for it. Because I was that way. Even if I wasn't familiar with something, I went and tried building it. But definitely, experienced builders, more experienced builders, a set's more for them. It's the build was amazing. The classic colors, the classic style, sort of. I mean, it's classic style color-wise and figures and stuff. But when you get down to it, none of the classic sets were ever this complicated a build. I mean, this whole bottom piece, the original set, which was smaller, was just plates. The bottom, I think some large plates. I mean, give you an idea for scale. This piece right here is what was on the nose cone, not this big buildup that they made. So that gives you some idea of scale. Though proportionally, it looks the same. But yeah, it may look like a classic set, but it doesn't feel like a classic set. So I really like this set. If you haven't figured that out, I really like this set. Okay, moving on to the actual evaluation. Appearance, it looks amazing, both inside and outside, and even on the underside, it's pretty cool. It's kind of plain under there, but it's serviceable by. I mean, I don't know what you would expect on the underside of this spaceship, but it looks fine. And the figures look fine. Yes, they are not detailed. They don't. I mean, they're detailed enough. I mean, they're in spacesuits, but they don't have super amazing detailed printing. They don't have facial printing. They just have their smiley faces, and that's it. But they still look good. I don't know what to say about the minifigures. The classic space figures are what they're supposed to look like, so that's a good thing. But the rest of the ship looks really good too. It looks like a science fiction classic science fiction going back, 60s, 70s type stuff, which is what. That's pretty much what this stuff was based off from, but it looks really good, and I gave it a 10. It's not that hard to see. Here it is in front of you. Now, what did I put for that? Yeah, so functions, everything mostly works good. I have only one real problem that I could see is the landing pads underneath. They do pop off easy, especially if you're trying to hold the ship with one hand and open up the things in the other. I actually recommend you just leave them down. It's cool that they go up, but I would just leave them down. There's enough room under there to put your hand underneath, even with the landing gear down. Fortunately, your hand might bump them and knock them off anyways, but you'll get the hang of handling it. Yeah, you'll get the hang of handling it. Too many H's there. Just the same with them down, but pulling them down and putting them back up, they're more likely to pop off. So, just for that minor thing, really, I going to give it a 9. The thing is about them, there's a way to make them more secure, but then you also kind of lose part of the function. Like they won't close up all the way. All you'd have to do is put a 1x4 stud across them to hold them in place, or maybe even a 2x4. But either way, you just need to do something like that or hold them in place. There might be another way to do it too, so you can still save the integrity of them folding up flat. They won't fold up flat, they'll still fold up, but they won't fold up flat, which is kind of what you want. So I took 1 point off for that, but the rest of it works great. Cockpits open up, the thing in the back, oh, this back piece is so cool, and so is the, oh, I think I forgot to show that in the main review, is there is a airlock sliding door in here, which is really cool. And well, we'll talk about the techniques later, but yeah, so function overall pretty good, and I gave it 9. Now, as far as fun goes, there's a lot of neat play feature involved in all this function that I have going, especially the back. It's a very zoomable ship, although it is on the heftier side. That's why I wouldn't recommend it for younger kids. Even if, you know, maybe they're, I mean, if they're still capable of building it, yes, but they still might have problems handling the bulk of the set when they're just trying to play with it. Because it's on the heavier side. It can be, you know, held by the wings with 2 hands, or holding with 1 hand underneath is probably going to be too much for them. Me, with my adult hands, is not a problem, but younger kids would have more of a problem with that. That said, there's still plenty of fun to be had. The only thing that we're going to take a point off from, Funny's getting a 9, because I did this is something I complain about with the other sets, but the truth is, most of these older, especially the space sets, and I think even some of the early night sets, there were no opposing faction. There was no bad guy, opposing faction. I mean, you have 2 different colored guys here. Maybe you could consider one of them, one color is the good guys, one guy's the bad guys, I suppose. And in that case, then yes, you have a balanced team. So if you use your imagination, you could have a balanced team. But they are all supposed to be on the same team. They're just different colored astronauts for whatever reason. When I was playing, when I was younger, would play with them. It is like the different uniforms, just like Star Trek, would be different ranks and different job positions. So the white guys are the pilots, and the red guys are the explorers, or maybe the maintenance crew, or something like that. But yeah, there's no classic good guy versus bad guy going on here. So I took a point off for that. It's not a big gripe, but it's something that's there. It's something that's always been there with those older sets. I mean, they came out with bad guy sets later on, the Blacktron, and but still, you never had a balance within the set. You had a bad guy set, and you had the good guy set, and you would have more than one. You would play with them together. It wasn't all bad that there wasn't any bad guys at first and stuff, but I'm still taking a point off, just the same. Just to be standards for what they do nowadays, because now they do have mixed stuff. If you're going to have mixed stuff, then you should have some kind of balanced play. Now, this was easily played with other things and other toys. You want to explore a planet of other toys, you know? Alright, so that's it for fun. Like I said, it got a 9. Not bad at all, but I am taking a point off. Now, as far as techniques, many good techniques. There are so many good techniques here. I mean, I love how the engine rockets are built. How this was absolutely amazing. The arrow on the backs of these, so clever. The airlock inside. The rear. I don't even know what you want to call it. Opening hatch. The descending ramp. Yes, I guess that's what you call it. The descending ramp. That, you know, as you pull out, it drops down and the vehicle will roll right out. That's absolutely sweet. How they built the sides, they built up all this, the angles here. Oh, so good, so good. Yeah, nice smooth angled surfaces here underneath. Even the landing pad, even though I think it could maybe be done weaker or be done better or something, it still was cleverly done, and I appreciate that. Even the beds inside built and designed for the astronauts. There's so much into this. The detachable rockets that can be separate vehicles. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here, and I gave it a 10. Easy, hands down, a 10. So you take all that, you add it all up, you get what? A 38. Take all those scores, get a 38 divided by 4, and you get a 9.5. So it's not quite a 10. If you could fix those landing pads, it would definitely probably be getting a 10. Not solid 10, but a 10 just the same. So 9.5. Okay, moving on to price. I've already rattled on a little bit about price, but you do the math, you get $99.99. Divide that by how many pieces? 1,254 pieces. And you end up with 7 cents. It's almost 8%, but we don't round up. We just cut it off. So it's 7 cents per piece, even at 8% per piece. That's really good. Really good. This is a really great set. There's really great price, and I gave it an E for excellent. I didn't think I would. Yes. So it got an E. The price is great. I think part of it's licensing. Part of it's simpler piece usage, because there's a lot of pretty basic pieces in this, except for, you know, some of these rocket engine pieces and stuff. I don't know how much it costs to make some of these other things, but yeah, it got an E. So that brings our grand total, our final evaluation score, to a 9.5 E. This is a very good set. I just wish they would bring classic space back. I wish they'd bring space back in general. Space kind of faded out when Star Wars came in. I mean, it was still there, but the Star Wars sets were bringing in all the money. So I don't think they tried as hard with some of the space sets, or pushed them as hard, or they just didn't sell as well because people are already buying the Star Wars stuff. And I don't know, don't find the Star Wars stuff quite as inspirational as things like this, or things like some of the other space stuff that they had come out. We have Ninjago, but I would love to see a space. And I know they have the city space stuff, but I want more of a fantasy space theme, which is what this was, and the other ones were, where they even had aliens and things like that later on and stuff. But I am glad they had this for an anniversary set. It brings back things. I wish I could have gotten myself on Benny's spaceship. I think that sets quite a bit now, so I probably won't get my hands on it unless my YouTube channel starts doing really well, and yeah, I'll maybe sometime in the future. But I do have the ship from the second Lego movie, and that thing's pretty cool. And I wouldn't quite say it's partially inspired by classic space. It's inspired by a lot of stuff. That whole character was inspired by Chris Pratt's career, which is hilarious. That movie is so much fun. Yeah, but putting that together, I have not put that big fist ship together. We will be looking at that, and I will be putting it together. But this makes me want to put it together even more. It's going to be a while. We're still working our way back. I'm also potentially picking up a part-time, maybe even full-time job. If it's a full-time one, this is really going to take backseat. But we will still keep moving forward. I want to make this channel work. Then if it works good enough, I don't have to work. I could work full-time on getting these videos back out again and go full blast and do a whole bunch more, which that's all I'm going to talk about on that now. This is probably getting on pretty long. So that's it for me here. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And please leave comments down below. Any action you guys do, interaction with the channel, helps the channel grow with the YouTube algorithm. So leave comments, even if you say hi, but also do leave comments. I will respond. I want to know what other people's thoughts are on this. I want to sit down and have discussions with you guys. If you're a parent looking for a child and, this set works out, let me know. Maybe you have to come back to the video at another time to let me know. But, let me know what they think. Your experience with it, with your kids and stuff like that. Definitely would get this one to older kids. But, yeah. Leave those comments down below. And also, follow me. You can hit the bell for notifications, but I would also suggest following me on either Facebook or Twitter or something like that, because I give the notifications out that the videos are out right away as soon as I get it done. YouTube has weird delays. I don't understand it, but that's what they do. So yeah, that's it for me here, reminding you that creativity is key.